Thank you very much, sir.
You go that way. I'm asking you nicely to leave. Over this way.
For what?
You
Don't touch me.
walk.
Don't you touch me.
Please walk.
What are you doing?
Okay, thank you.
What are you doing?
What are you doing? I have security cameras here watching this place. You do not need to be back here filming all this stuff.
Right now, I'm dealing with him. I would like to talk to you, ma'am. I would. So I will be in to talk to you. Are you the elected clerk? Thank you. I will be in to talk to you, miss. Thank you very much. He can't be bothered to do his job when he's got cameras here. So what's in there that I shouldn't see?
Why don't you talk to the county clerk here?
Man, I'm just kind of allowed to do. I'm allowed to do whatever I want as long as I'm not breaking the law. You're law enforcement, not feelings enforcement.
This is the clerk's office. That's my personal office.
I get that, and I'm allowed. If your door is open, I'm allowed to look in it. You could close it if you don't want me to look in it. But this
you're
guy's
not allowed to go past there.
says what? Says what? Is that just how y'all feel, or is that a law?
I mean, there's nothing in my office. You're welcome to look at it.
I am welcome to look at it.
Yeah. Come on right ahead.
There you go.
Hey, by the way, I don't need permission. You need to watch it. Thank you, ma'am.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, do you guys have a public records request, or could I do a verbal one with you?
You'll have to submit it for you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Could I get that, please? I'm gonna take a step back out and go around to your
go right ahead.
office, but if I could get that, please. Man, you're lucky you didn't touch me, brother. I would have defended myself. That would have been a flat nose. Boom, right there. I'm saying I'll defend myself if you touch me. If you touch me, I'll defend myself. If you take that as a threat, that shows who you are.
You're the one that said you're gonna flatten my nose.
Don't touch me, and we won't have to defend myself, will I?
You have the right to walk around this store.
Around, so don't restrict it. And do your job. Pay attention to this fine lady here. What's wrong with you? Don't tell me what to do. You go on. Go on. You don't have authority over a free American. Go. All right. Kick rocks, pal. Yeah. Man, you see the ego on this hat? This is crazy, man.
FYI, no camera on me. Now.
Okay, ma'am.
Not me either.
Well,
No, turn them.
ma'am,
Right this way.
it's a public
So I don't
area.
have a FOIA request form, so you
You
either
don't?
have to just submit an email or print a form off. Like, just Google it and.
Could you guys please print it for me? I'm terrible with computers. I seriously,
Turn that camera
I mean,
off.
I don't
Turn it,
even.
Please.
ma'am,
We're gonna take it.
ma'am, please don't touch my stuff.
Turn them.
Please stop.
Okay, let me Google one. You guys can come in here.
Thank you. Jesus.
Most people just submit them via email, so I don't actually.
I understand, ma'am. I'm sure I get that you understand what I'm trying to do. So I appreciate you taking the time to be professional with me here.
How we doing?
I'm doing good, man.
I understand you're recording stuff, here's my information in case you need it.
Appreciate your
as long as-
forthcomingness.
As long as you're not causing any issues, you can be here recording and everything okay?
Yeah, Captain. Yeah, I wanted to talk to you, man. I don't like to take the time to do written complaints, but
Okay.
your deputy here, and it's to your benefit that I'm not doing a written complaint. Your deputy here really was getting in my face, getting in my personal area over in this area past his desk. Now I understand that it says please wait here for assistance and all this. I don't understand how that gives anybody lawful authority to control where I am past here. It really doesn't make sense. Now, I want to show you, like, I understand this, please wait here for assistance, stop, please wait here for assistance. Now, if I don't need assistance, I'm not going to wait. I'm just going to kind of look around, and then I'll leave.
There are certain areas that you can't,
Okay.
you can't go back behind the
Hey,
desk.
come here, let's check this out. This is what I wanted to show you. This says notice employees only beyond this point. That is a little bit more fitting. Now, I'm not advocating that we get signs back there. I'm just advocating that we don't I don't want to be messed with. when I'm moving freely in a courthouse that I help pay for them, and I really don't. Where's my only complaint?
Sure, I get that, but like, I'm sure you get that, you know, you can't just go and
I'm not going back here. You know what I mean? I'm not going back here,
Sure.
am I?
So-
And over there, there's no signs, so I'm going to move where I want to.
I think you do understand that there are areas in the courthouse that are restricted.
And I think that part of my job is to help everybody understand where those areas are.
Sure.
And I think that when we don't have a full, complete, all-encompassing understanding of where those areas are and where law allows you to restrict movement, I think restricting movement just kind of arbitrarily seems dangerous, because I could have gotten arrested, and I told him if he tried to touch me, I would have defended myself, and that would have escalated into a very bad situation.
Okay, well,
when really there's no reason for it to have done that.
I mean,
you understand?
I think you're trying to escalate stuff. I think that's what people do.
Talk to him the exact same way I've talked to you, and that is what it is.
Just so you're aware, I mean, a sign or verbal, I mean, you can be notified several ways that an area is restricted. So
And
it doesn't have to be on the sign. We can tell you, hey, this area is off limits because.
No. If I'm out on the sidewalk, it's the same as if I'm in here when there's no signs, man.
I disagree with that because, like I said, you can't just walk into private offices back there. There are clearly areas that are restricted that people just can't go into.
There's no private offices in the courthouse.
I disagree with that. Okay?
Where is the private office?
These random offices back here. This is the common area right here. There's
This is
private
the
office.
treasurer's office, all right?
Sure.
It's an elected public official's office.
Right. There's a public area and there's a private area. Yeah.
Right. Okay. But in a public area, you can't just arbitrarily say. So hold on. Notifying me verbally, that would be like saying if you told me verbally that I'm not allowed to be right here, then I'd have to move. No, I'm just going to tell you no, and I'm going to tell you to.
We wouldn't do that because this is just a common area.
Right. But you did, with all due respect, you did it over there, and that's a common area as well.
No, I mean,
The clerk's
to
office,
an extent, yes.
the main public official's office is right over there, man.
Right, and still, her office in particular is not a public. Where people
It
walk in
is.
and out.
It
It's
is.
not.
You have to run for it. It's a public office. You're
The
elected.
county clerk's office in general, there is a public area there. You go in there and get your records, but you still don't have free reign to go into the specific.
I actually
office.
believe that I do, unless law prohibits it.
Okay, well-
Unless law prohibits it, I believe I do. So
Okay.
if you're aware of a
I
law,
think we have the ability to restrict access to certain areas. I mean, you can't go into a woman's bathroom, can you?
but only if a law prohibits it, right? Because you're law enforcement, not feelings enforcement.
Right, we
Right.
we can enforce the restriction of access to certain parts of the building. I think you understand that.
If there's a law.
If we have a female restroom, we can't have males going in there looking around.
Believe they make laws for that,
I
don't
think
they?
there's common sense that goes into a lot of that.
I agree, but I think there's also laws just for the people that don't have a slight, even the smidgen of common sense. And there's a lot of those running around in this
And
area.
if people don't have common sense, and that's when we go direct them and tell them, hey, you can't be in here, you can't be over there. So
Right.
There are certain
But the
times
thing
where we
is
need
when-
to address people and say, hey, just so you know, this area is off limits. So there are times where we do give verbal,
Yeah.
you know, if people aren't understanding, we do advise them verbally, but
Yeah.
for the most part, common sense usually takes care of it.
Yeah, Mr. Sakowicz, I think that the misconception here is that I'm saying you could. I'm not arguing that you couldn't.
Sure.
I'm saying you could if there's a law. But if there's no law, you have zero authority to do anything.
And
You understand that,
sure, and,
right?
and people will, you know, they dissect laws different ways. What one person thinks the law means, another person may not. That's why they argue stuff in court all the time.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure that if there's no law at all, there's nothing to be argued with.
Well,
You know what I mean?
if it was as simple as that, then we wouldn't even have people arguing. Sorry, one second.
Yeah. Actually, don't need you anymore. I appreciate you going above and beyond. Yes, that is exactly what I need. Thank you so much. You have a good day, okay?
Anything else from the sir?
I mean, I don't know if I asked, but I guess I'll ask you to not get in people's faces over there in the public building. If you guys can do that, if you can stay out of people's personal space, don't touch, you know what get all the stuff you learned in kindergarten. Keep your hands to yourself,
Sure.
Don't touch what isn't yours, you know, have a good attitude.
Would have common sense that maybe if there's a barrier there, that's,
Yeah, there's no barrier there though, brother. That's a half barrier. Like, what is that? That's
it's
nothing.
to allow the courthouse employees to come through into their private offices. But
Then restricted. That's not restricted.
That's what we're doing by verbally telling you.
No, you're not. You're just bullying me in public. You don't understand that. That is the thing.
We can agree to disagree.
You can't just
You know what I
verbally tell somebody what to do and then they snap their, you have to do it. No.
Okay, again.
It's
we
like
can-
me telling
we
you
can
to-
agree disagree. I mean,
Well,
it is what it is.
Go ahead and just tell me to do something, and I'll refuse it, and then you can arrest
Like I
me
said,
for a
that's what we're
refusal
talking
to
before
follow
I-
orders.
before
You
I got on
know.
the phone, that's what I was saying. You know,
All right.
If laws were clear cut, then there
Yeah,
would
they're-
be people.
they're
there
pretty-
wouldn't be
they're
people
pretty clear
arguing
cut,
with us
brother.
there, you know what I mean? That's
Yeah,
they-
they're
yeah.
pretty clear cut.
I agree with you 100%,
Yeah.
but that's what the courts are for. They disagree over what laws mean all the time, and you know whether someone hasn't broken it or not. So
Yeah, we'll have to
There's always-
disagree about that as well. I think the courts are more there to back you up and keep your position up, because they get paid through the same exact mechanism that you get paid. So if it all went to shit, they wouldn't get any money. But yeah. But hey, I'm cool with disagree. I'm cool with agreeing to disagree. All right. So as long as nobody's attacking me, you know what I mean. As long as nobody's going hands on, making me defend myself, that'll be just fine.
All right.
You're a big dude too. That wouldn't have ended well for me or you.
Hey, I'm not here to try to rough anybody up or everybody.
It did, I'll tell you, sir. I hope you're telling the truth, but it did not look like that to me. That's the only reason that I said that stuff over
Well, I
them.
just started walking across the area. I was just stepping, trying to block it from you, because that is her office. I'm not trying to be rude to you, okay? Listen,
I don't want to be rude to you either. I like to
I
be
have,
polite.
I have no problem with you guys going upstairs, walking around, but you can't go to the third floor with cameras. We don't let anybody go up there with them, because that's the courts, okay? But if you want to go to the second floor, I would be more than happy if you're willing to sign in.
We're
understand.
doing that sign-in thing. Hold on, where's the captain?
At this point in the video, I go into the clerk's office to request the court order that would prohibit us from entering the second floor without forfeiting our Fourth Amendment right and signing in. We ultimately go upstairs and request the order in writing. Unfortunately, the judge gets wind that we are in the courthouse with recording devices, and in an anti-transparency move, has us kicked out. I had been sitting inside for about 25-30 minutes, so I stopped recording, but I went live after we left the courthouse to ask some more questions.
I'm the state's attorney.
You look very judicious.
Well, you need glasses.
I got them already, can't you see? Hey, I was wondering, man, what's your opinion on the constitutionality of not allowing electronics into a public building?
I have no opinion.
That's what? Are you the elected official?
Yep.
Surely you've got an opinion, sir.
No, I don't.
Take care. It's pretty poor. That's pretty poor. That's unfortunate. They have kind of said to me without saying it, like, hey, the judge handed down an order just now that we're going to give to you.
You guys want a copy of this?
Wouldn't mind it.
It's the Supreme Court policy from the Illinois Supreme Court. So you want to check that out, read it. It goes into ways that the judge of the get out of the way in case someone-
Yeah.
the judge of the courthouse, any given courthouse. So this case would be Judge Ray Vaughn. He's a resident circuit judge for Richland County.
Yeah.
They can essentially set up their own rules regarding recordings in a courthouse. Can't do anything about sidewalk, obviously. That's outside and outside the purview of the courthouse. But in the courthouse, the judge can essentially determine what he believes to be a reasonable rule regarding recording equipment. So if you want to read through that, if you have any questions about it, please let me know. But
Yeah, could I just ask you, man, just to get a confirmation, what's going to happen to me if I go back in that door?
we'll ask you to leave, or you can go back in without the recording equipment as much as you want.
Okay.
If you go back in with the recording equipment, we'll ask you to leave, and if you don't leave, then you'll probably be taken into custody for refusing an order. Okay.
For refusing a judge's order.
Well, it'd be my order refusing you to leave the courthouse because you're violating the judge's order for the recording equipment.
Okay. And would that be a law, or would that be contempt of court?
That would be. I mean, there is disobeying a peace officer is a law. As long as the law is lawful, which under the circumstances I believe it to be.
As long as the order is lawful?
Yes.
Right. Okay, right. And
I
so
believe,
you think
I believe
that...
it to be based on the information in the Illinois Supreme Court policy, yes.
Okay, so
This is one thing I always find fascinating about American police. They are so willing to spend hours researching and trying to understand court decisions that they think gives them power to violate citizens' rights. But they will never spend a single minute trying to look into cases that enshrine our rights in case law, like the People versus Clark, where the Illinois Supreme Court handed down a ruling that said that restricting the use of an audio or audio-visual recording device suppresses speech just as effectively as restricting the dissemination of the resulting recording.
does the Illinois Supreme Court legislate?
I'm just telling you what's going to happen, okay? And
Right.
If you want to speak to
Well, I'm just
legislators
no,
about
I'm
how
just
laws are
talking to you
made,
to do
that's-
this. I'm just doing this mental exercise because when people stop talking, that's when bad things happen. So I like to talk this kind of stuff out so that we can kind of understand where we're at, on this
If
page
you got a
here.
question about legislation and all that, that's something for the legislator. You can
Well, no, I'm-
contact your state senator.
I don't
or
have a
whoever
question
you
about.
want to.
I don't have a question about the
But,
legislation.
for-
I know
for
who
my-
legislates.
Sure.
It's the legislature.
There
The
you go.
Supreme Court doesn't, right?
Okay. So, and you'd certainly
Right.
argue that in court if you wanted to, okay? So
Before who?
they can hand down laws.
Wait, who would I
their
take this?
policies.
Who would I take this before?
It would go before the judge, obviously.
So the same court that's imposed a rule
once
is going to
you-
enforce the
Once
rule.
you would be arrested, then you would be given a court date. You'd be released and given a court date. You come back to
Right.
the court date and make your argument for, whether you're guilty or not guilty, and make your argument for why you
Yeah.
did so. So
Yeah. Okay. So in order to even debate this with any public official, I have to get arrested.
no, not necessarily. You can contact your state senator and discuss about.
With
discuss
all due
with them
respect,
about
the state
legislation.
senator isn't doing this. They didn't pass a law, and you're law
Then I would
enforcement.
suggest
You're
go talk
supposed to
them about
enforce
it.
the law.
That's what I think I'm doing.
That's why I'm trying to talk to you about it, because you understand the
And I've given you
legislature
my-
didn't pass this
and
law.
I've given you my answer.
Right.
Right.
You're just going to blindly do whatever the judge tells you.
I'm gonna follow the direction that I've, there's always more information out there than I've got in my head. So
Yeah.
the information that I've got right now basically says that the judge here can make the determination for recording equipment in this courthouse.
And so where did
if
you look for
and
that
if
information,
He says
sir?
that you can't have recording in the courthouse. I'm gonna ask you to leave or turn off the recording equipment. And if you don't, then you'll be arrested for disobeying order by a peace officer. So
Yeah. That wouldn't really be very peaceful, would it, if you arrested me for not doing
that's
anything?
just the words they use in the
Right, but it
in the
wouldn't be right if
statutes.
you kidnapped me for not doing anything to anybody.
I wouldn't see it
and
that
hurt.
way. Yeah,
Well,
I don't
would
think
I
that
cause
would.
damages
I don't
to
think that
somebody?
would be a violation of the kidnapping statute. So,
People rely heavily on these advice.
but feel free to read through it. I can come back and talk to you here in a little bit if you want me to. Okay.
Okay,
And it's
so
on- it's on the
there's
front door
no
over
cell
there.
phones allowed in the whole building.
Right. That's I wasn't even thinking about that when I talked to
Well,
you.
it just kind of is like literally saying, it's literally contradicting itself, because it's saying,
I read through it too, and it basically says, you need it for these purposes.
or you need it, right?
Right.
But
But under certain circumstances, if the judge wants to deny them, then that's up to the judge, basically. So
okay, right. So does the judge order? Because that guy didn't seem too intent in taking our phones. So why didn't
well,
he take our
I
phones?
think I just had a misunderstanding of.
Well, this was
what
before you ever came over there. I mean, we walked right in the courthouse with the phones, and
Right, and that's-
everybody else walked in the courthouse with their phones.
Right, and that's why I think I assume the other courthouse security guy just had a misunderstanding of what the policy was. We do have, I don't know if you saw it there to the right of the court security desk, there's a black box on the wall, and it's got lockable lockers, basically for people to put their stuff in, pocket knives, cell phones, whatever.
I guess what I'm trying to get to the bottom of, Captain, or we'll say Mr. Sekowicz.
Robert's even fine if you want.
Robert's a good name. So Robert, my problem is, I guess, are we special that our phones aren't allowed in
I don't know.
and everybody else is?
I would assume that they're thinking there's a disturbance being caused, and that would fall under if the judge has a determination, for it, wherever was that here?
Yeah.
For security concerns, essentially. So if he's got a security concern issue, then he can make that determination.
Yeah.
So.
Doesn't that seem crazy, man, that they'd have you kidnap somebody? Hold on.
I would have just allowed it to be in the lobbies like we discussed before.
Right, yeah.
That would have been my position on it, but
'Cause that
I
seems
certainly
right.
I don't override the judge, so
Right, but surely, have you ever heard of that Nuremberg trials thing?
yeah.
In that, well, can I just finish?
Very familiar with it.
Yeah, I'll tell you. So they've got this, I believe it's like the World Court or something, handed down a ruling, right? Yeah, who cares? But anyway, they handed down this ruling, all right, and it says, if you have a conscience, which humans do, and somebody asks you to do something morally that you believe is morally incorrect, and this is in the law that they've written and they handed down, it's the Geneva Conventions that they've handed down, and it says if you have a conscience and you morally disagree with an order that you've given, saying that you're just following orders is no excuse for doing something wrong. And so I really wonder with you personally, Robert, because I'll tell you, I am not looking to get kidnapped today or thrown in these cages.
Sure.
I guess my question to you is, Robert, where do you draw the line? What would that judge have to ask you to do where you say, Judge, I morally disagree with that and I'm not going to do that? what is the line? Could you say, would it be, let me give you some, would it be maybe go take their guns?
No, no. I mean, if they're in the courthouse, then yeah, you can't have it in the courthouse.
So like, what if they,
There's certainly plenty of restrictions on guns as well.
yeah,
Yeah.
right. So like, they keep ebbing away. Is that right?
Sure.
So right. So how
I
far do
wouldn't
they
say
have to
that.
go until you say, you've crossed the line and now I won't take your money to do your dirty work anymore?
I don't know how to answer that. I mean, there's you could give scenario after scenario. There's 1,000 scenarios you can give. And
Right, I know.
Can I get your take on this one or this one? I mean, we can do it.
I know.
Stay here for 24
I'm
hours.
just asking you, like, what would be the line? What
So
could you
I
conceive
think
of?
This is perfectly reasonable to ask you to leave if the judge says you can't have recording equipment in the courthouse. I think that's a reasonable.
Right. Even though there's like, yeah, like I'm going. Matter of fact, you've given me your card.
You got it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Information's on there.
I'll send you an email with higher courts, much higher than the Illinois Supreme Court,
I would love to see
ruling that it's constitutionally protected speech to record your interactions with government officials while they're in their public capacity.
Sure.
In public. I could actually give you the case law right now. The name of it. It's
you can.
It's People versus Alvarez is what it
I'm
is.
gonna remember it better if you email it.
Yeah, I'll
walk
email
out
it
the
to
door
you.
and I'll
Don't worry,
forget.
I'll email it to you. But when I come back after I've emailed it to you, I hope that and when I can't afford to get kidnapped by you guys to stand up for freedom, I hope that you will not be the one doing it. And I hope that if I'm sitting in this cage for not doing anything wrong, that you tell the people who've done it to me, hey, I won't accept your money to work for you anymore because you've crossed a line. But I'm not sure that there is a line for you. And that's something that concerns me. I'm not sure there's a line that you would say, I'm not going to cross.
We'll address it when we come to it.
Yeah. And
Anything else
that's a
for
problem.
guys?
No. And man, I hate to tell you, but I won't shake your hand
Sure,
because
that's
you
all right.
threatened
No
to
problem at all. If you need anything, you got my information. Email me, call me, whatever. I'll sit there and talk to you. I mean, I don't have.
I'll email you and I'll ask you for an answer, and we'll see if you can give me an answer that you couldn't give me today, because you wouldn't give me a single answer today. Besides, we'll arrest you. So when I email you and I send you the 7th Circuit Court of Appeals ruling that says recording public officials is constitutionally protected speech, I hope you can give me an answer that says, oh, now I've been informed of this, now I've read this and I've thought for myself, now I won't do that because it's clearly wrong. I hope that this is a response I get. Maybe you'll say, hey, I disagree with the ruling and I'll do it anyways. But even an answer would be good.
I'll check it out and I'll let you know. All
All
right.
right.
Appreciate it, guys. Thank you.
Yep. All right, everybody. So, I mean, like I say, I can't afford to get arrested right now because I'm out. Well, anybody who follows the channel knows. I mean, I'm literally under political attack in Indiana, and it's quite straining on me in every way you could possibly imagine. We've got 193 people in the chat. If everybody could hit the like. I'm here with my friend Jacob. His name on YouTube is Lil Alpha. Of course, it's in an uncommon name, but he's putting out what you would call extras from Craig Henry content. He's following me around, and so if you're interested in seeing anything that happens that doesn't make it to the main page, you want to go over there and check out his channel. But with that being said, everybody, I'm not going to get arrested because fuck that. I don't like their cages. But if anybody else wants to, Olney, Illinois, this is whatever that lady minutes ago told us the courthouse was. And you can come get arrested and challenge the law yourself. But I will not be doing so right now.